opened without any problems there, and that was the sentiment of MEC of Education Sibusiso Malaza. Our reporter Tumelo Machogo spoke to the MEC a short time ago about the school readiness of schools in Mbombela.
Mpumalanga says it's ready for the 2019 academic year. Over 1,700 schools opened its gates and its doors this morning to learners across the province. The province, obviously, Mpumalanga is a rural province and is always faced with many challenges. But to speak more about the school readiness in Mpumalanga province, we speak to the MEC of Education, Mr. Sibusiso Malaza. Ntate, just talk to us about how is Mpumalanga ready for the 2019 academic year.
Good morning. We think that as a province we're ready because we've provided stationery as early as November last year. We've ensured that registration is done earlier. In the past 2 days, we're ensuring that learners are coming to our schools to collect stationery. Those who were not registered are registered. In an incident like Clarinet, where we have challenges, today we've provided scholar transport that is ferrying our learners to other schools. In Babaten, you remember that in December there was a school that was struck by lightning. Mobile classes are on their way to the school. Were delayed because it was holidays, but we are going to ensure that at least by tomorrow that school is in full force. But all other schools, our expectation is that the first period is for teaching and learning, because we have spent 2 days in preparation to ensure that we receive our learners warmly. We are certain that this day is going to go smooth and run. Where there are challenges, we are going to intervene as a department, particularly in the fast-growing towns where we will always experience issues of admissions. But we're working together. There are teams that have been formed to respond to that timelessly to resolve those challenges.
But talk to us about the schools that you're talking to, about the one in Barberton. Obviously the mobile classroom has only been delivered today and tomorrow. What about the schools that were burned down by protesters last year in the Nkomazi area?
We've tried to intervene in the schools that were burned down as early as last year. In some instances where renovations are still going on, but those learners are being placed in other classes to ensure that teaching and learning start as early as today.
What about the admission? I know the grade 1 learners have been admitted at schools, and the grade 8 also, those who are going to high school. The admission, talk to us about the admission process. Is that has been completed in all of the schools?
Remember that as early as last year, we opened for admissions, for registration. But our challenge is that parents tend to come in January. The cases that we're dealing with are the late admissions, but the ones that came as early as last year, those ones were placed. The one that we're dealing with now are the ones that came late. But in the fast-growing town, might find that they might come early last year, but the challenge is that the school capacity can't carry the load. So we're working as a team to find a way, how do we place those learners into other schools if they can't be admitted in the schools that they've chosen to send their learners into.
Back to the scholar transport issue, because it's always been an issue, because some of them have been saying that they're not being paid, especially scholar transport, people who are providing scholar transport. Those people have been now being paid for the 2019 to make sure that they ferry their kids and also there's no disruption throughout the year.
We don't have any challenges with scholar transport as we speak. We're aware that today scholar transport are running, nothing is reported to us. We're certain that they are going to ferry all our learners to schools. If there are challenges that emerges, we're going to interact with our counterpart in the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport and request intervention. But from where we are, we're certain that all our learners are going to be ferried to school on time.
And obviously we are at one of the best schools, that is one of the best performing schools here in Nelspruit. Just talk to us about what are the support that you're giving to other schools to make sure that they perform as good as this school that we are here today.
I think what is critical that we're doing as a department, we're saying schools must exchange programs, best practices. This school then have set an example, and we're going to ensure that as a circuit, the district also bring other educators, also other learners here to be taught by the best educators who are here. But not only in this school, in the entire province, we have so many schools that are doing very well. But what brings us here into school, what excites us, is that we have a top learner in the province that come from this school.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. That was Mr. Sibusiso Malaza was speaking to us about the school readiness in Mpumalanga province. Back to you.
Ramaphosa and former President Jacob Zuma